Hey guys, today I'm going to be looking at adding and subtracting rational expressions. This is from Algebra 1, Unit 6, Lesson 7. So when we're adding and subtracting rational expressions, or fractions that have polynomials, remember when you're adding or subtracting fractions, you have to have a common denominator. If you do have a common denominator, then you can just add your numerators and keep your denominator. So for example, let's say that I have 2x squared minus 1 over 3x plus 2 minus x squared minus 4x plus 2 over 3x plus 2. Since we have a common denominator, I can just combine the numerators and keep our denominator. But since we're subtracting here, you need to be very careful. We need to distribute that negative to everything in this numerator. So really, we have the 2x squared minus 1 minus x squared. That becomes a plus 4x and a minus 2 after I distribute that negative. And then it's all over the 3x plus 2. You just keep your denominator. So now I need to combine like terms. I've got 2x squared minus x squared would just be x squared. I've got a 4x here, which I can't combine with anything, so plus 4x. And then a minus 1 minus 2. So that's a negative 1 minus 2, which would be a negative 3. All over 3x plus 2. All right, now I need to see if anything will cancel, but I have to factor before I can do that. So my numerator, there's no GCF. I'm going to try to do the asterisk. Remember, a times c goes on top, so that's negative 3, and then b is on bottom, and then x goes here and here. The only things that multiply to negative 3 would be 3 and 1. So negative 3 times positive 1 or positive 3 times negative 1. But neither one of those is going to add up to a positive 4. So this is not going to factor. Therefore, I can't take this any further, and there's nothing I can cancel out. So that would be my final answer here. All right, let's try another one that's a little bit more complicated. Let's say that we have, let's do negative 2x minus 4 over x squared plus 5x plus 6 plus 3 over x plus 3. All right, our denominators are not the same here, so we cannot add these yet. So we need to get a common denominator. And before we can do that, I need to factor my denominators. So I'm going to rewrite my numerator here, but I'm going to factor my denominator. I'm going to do an asterisk here. What multiplies to 6 and adds up to 5? Well, that's going to be 3 and 2. So that factors into x plus 3 times x plus 2. Okay, the other one I can't factor, it's just x plus 3. But if you notice, they both have a factor of x plus 3. Well, that's good because that's means they're almost common. But this one also has an x plus 2. So this one over here needs to get that x plus 2 right here. But remember, what you do to the bottom of a fraction, you must do to the top. So I've got to multiply the top by that x plus 2 as well. All right, so I'm going to rewrite this one. I've got negative 2x minus 4 over x plus 3 times x plus 2 plus, now over here, remember, I multiplied the denominator by x plus 2 so that we have a common denominator. But I also have to do that on top, and I'm going to have to distribute here. So that gives me 3x plus 6. Now I have a common denominator, and I can just go ahead and combine like terms in the numerator. And it's addition, so I don't have to worry about distributing anything. So I've got negative 2x plus 3x would be a positive x. And then I've got a negative 4 plus 6, which would give me a positive 2. All over, you keep your denominator, x plus 3 times x plus 2. And I'm going to put this in parentheses just so it's easier to see. But we've got a common factor on top and bottom. So that means I can cancel that common factor. Now be careful, there is still an understood 1 on top. And then we've got an x plus 3 in the denominator. So our final answer here would be 1 over x plus 3.